Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the press conference of Ecuador in its capacity as President of the Security Council for the month of December 2023. We will be using Spanish from now on, so I please ask you to use the interpretation service. Bienvenidos.
Welcome to Ecuador's press conference in its capacity as President of the United Nations Security Council for the month of December 2023. With us today we have Ambassador José de la Gasca, Permanent Representative of Ecuador, and our political coordinator, Mónica Sánchez. Ambassador de la Gasca will now make a presentation of the Security Council Programme of Work for December 2023. After that, I'll open the floor for those of you who have questions. Ambassador de la Gasca, you have the floor, sir. Thank you. Microphone for the speaker, please. Greetings to you all. Good afternoon. I just arrived a few days ago, as you'll be aware. This doesn't mean that work goes on, and this is an open-door presidency. Having said that, I'd like to welcome those who are with us here and the media who are also participating remotely. I bring the greetings from our president, who has drawn up an experienced but also youthful cabinet. Coming to New York is a pleasure for me. I think it's important to move from words to deeds, and in this context we will seek to strengthen the youth, peace and security agenda. Ecuador will take up this important role just once during this 2-year term as elected members. We have waited 31 years to take up this role, and we will have to wait a similar time to do it again. That's why we take up this role with enormous responsibility, and we will uphold the principles that we have upheld since we were the founding member of this organization, respecting international law, human rights, international humanitarian law, and the United Nations Charter. The priorities that we're establishing, or that we have established for Ecuador's presidency or period in the Security Council, will also be reflected in this presidency. They are the peaceful settlement of disputes, protection of civilians as the best way to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Geneva Conventions that will be celebrated next year, sustaining peace peacefully through preventing conflict and emerging threats, non-proliferation and combating the illicit trafficking of weapons, and the women, peace and security agenda. Therefore, we share these commitments as a member, and we aim to strengthen the participation of civil society, particularly the participation of women as key protagonists, and the gender approach in our debates this month. The programme of work that was adopted this morning by Security Council members represents, and I want to underscore this, joint work and commitment to address the issues facing the world and that are threatening international peace and security. This month begins with the adoption of 3 resolutions this afternoon. The first, Al-Shabaab, Somalia, the arms embargo, and UNITAMS. Over this month, we hope to be able to adopt resolutions on the MONUSCO mandate and the relevant committee. As a member for security for this presidency for December, we will hear information from the investigations team for accountability for the crimes committed by Daesh in Syria. Then after that, the Council will hold consultations on the Middle East, specifically on the Palestinian question, given recent events. On Wednesday, the 6th of December, we have planned 2 meetings of TCCs from UNDOF and MONUSCO. On the situation of MONUSCO, we will hold a briefing on the 11th of December, looking ahead to the adoption of a resolution on the 19th, which will allow for the implementation of an orderly withdrawal plan. The planned speaker will be the head of the UN Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Bintou Keita. We've also invited a civil society briefer. On the 12th of December, the President and the prosecutor for the IRMCT will brief the Security Council on activities carried out by that body once the judicial proceedings have been finished. On the afternoon of the 12th, the Council will meet with the subsidiary bodies on Sudan and Haiti. Following that, we will hold consultations on the UN Disengagement Observer Force, UNDOF. Here, a little aside, I wish to underscore the historic role of Haiti in the decolonization of Latin America and the Caribbean and its contribution to freedom across the world. It's no coincidence that Ecuador is working with the United States on the issue of Haiti. On the 3rd of October, when we were a non-permanent member of the Security Council, Ecuador and the United States sent to the Secretary General and the Security Council the resolution of Ministers of Foreign Affairs of the Organization of American States, with which we established the restoration of constitutional order in Haiti following the coup on the 27th of September in the same year. 3 decades later, we promoted the deployment of a security support force, which we hope will be able to be deployed as soon as possible. Returning now to the program of work, on Wednesday the 13th of December, the Council will meet in consultations to look at Yemen. Special Envoy Grunberg and the OCHA team will be presenting in consultations the situation in Yemen. And the same afternoon, the Regional Office for Central Africa will brief members of the Council on their activities in mediation and promoting peace in the region. On the 12th of December, the prosecutor and the president of the IRMCT will be briefing the members of the Council on the activities of these bodies once the judicial proceedings of that body have finished. On the 14th of December, we've planned a meeting for the adoption of a resolution to renew the mandate of the monitoring team, following which we will discuss the situation on South Sudan under Nicholas Haysom, the Special Representative of the Secretary General and head of the UN mission in South Sudan, UNMISS. The chairs of subsidiary bodies belonging to the states in the Security Council with relevant functions will be setting out in the Security Council on that day, the 14th of December, their briefings. On the 15th, on the 18th, we'll be holding a briefing and meetings on the situation in UNSMIL. The head of UNSMIL, Abdoulaye Batile, will be briefing the Council on the latest events in the country. In the afternoon, the meeting will hold a briefing to discuss the report of the Secretary General on Resolution 2223 and the implementation of the comprehensive joint plan of action on the Iranian nuclear plan. For the 19th of December, we've planned a briefing to address the 2334 resolution report on the Middle East, including the Palestinian question. We hope that the Special Coordinator for the peace process in the Middle East, Tor Vensland, will share the SG's latest report on that matter at that meeting. And it's very likely that we will have other Security Council meetings on this same topic during the month. We will work closely with all interested parties to ensure that our work on this very important matter will continue this month and will respond to the events on the ground. On the 20th of December, the Council will focus on the issue of UNAMA. the Special Envoy Rosa Otambayeva will present the main aspects of the latest report of the economic, political and humanitarian situation and the social situation in Afghanistan. She'll focus on restrictions to fundamental freedoms and rights of women and girls. On the 21st of December, we've planned the consideration of the adoption on UNDOF, and we will hold a briefing on Syria. The Special Envoy Peterson and the OCHA team will be providing a briefing on the situation in Syria. On the 22nd, we've planned an informal meeting with the broader membership, the wrap-up session, in which the 5 outgoing members will be able to provide an update of their work, and Ecuador will provide an update of its presidency in December. Finally, I'd like to say that we'll be organising 2 open debates on the 7th of December, building on the legacy of various Latin American and Caribbean countries that have taken the presidency before us. We will have a signature debate on threats to international peace and security, transnational organised crime, growing challenges and new threats. As you'll be aware, organised crime is a scourge in various regions of the world, including Latin America and the Caribbean. Ecuador has increasingly been a victim of this scourge. We believe that due to all of the implications of this, particularly for international peace and security, we need greater synergies between United Nations system bodies to favour international cooperation and to ensure that we have the necessary tools to support national forces in each state. This will allow us to overcome emerging threats and increasing challenges. The Secretary-General, Antonio Guterres, will be participating in the debate, and furthermore, Ghada Vali, the Executive Director of the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, will be briefing. We'll also have academic and civil society briefers. On the 15th of December, we'll be holding a Security Council meeting for the biennial report of the SG on small arms and light weapons. Bearing in mind the broad interest of membership, the broadest membership of the United Nations, and on the basis of our commitment to make the Council more inclusive and participatory, we decided to organise this meeting in an open debate format, addressing the threat posed by diversion, illicit trafficking and misuse of small arms and light weapons and their ammunition to peace and security. Ecuador proposed approaching the looking at the adverse effect on women and children, particularly in situations of conflict. Thank you.
Gracias, Embajador.
Thank you, Ambassador. We'll now move on to a question and answer round, and I'll open the floor to you. Please, before asking your question, could you please identify yourself and the media that you represent? We would be grateful, in the interest of time, if you could keep your questions short and to the point. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ambassador, on behalf of ANCA, the United Nations Correspondent Association, and we wish you the best of luck for the busy month ahead. My question is on the Middle East. Are you planning to try to take some action to talk to the other member of the Security Council in order to do something about a new humanitarian pause, call for a new humanitarian pause? There is a draft which is very ambitious. Are you planning to vote on that soon? What do you expect? Thank you so much.
Gracias.
Thank you. The situation in the Middle East is, of course, concerning. For Ecuador, it is a priority to address these kind of conflicts with the relevant urgency. We, in our presidency, will be working as much as we can to address the situation. And, of course, we'll be inclusive, and there will also be, of course, consultations as soon as that is possible. Thank you.
Por favor.
Hello, Ambassador. Welcome. I'm Margaret Bashir with Voice of America. I just wanted to know for either of your debates if President Noboa would be coming to New York.
Gracias por su...
Thank you for the question. We have just had a new president incoming. We have some urgent issues to attend to, but our Foreign Affairs Minister will be coming for the first debate on the 7th to represent Ecuador.
Siguiente pregunta, please.
Thank you. Banja Damilala, Paz Blue. Congratulations on your appointment. I have two questions. Ecuador is taking up the leadership of the Council as Israel continues its devotion to wipe out Hamas, despite the incomprehensible civilian casualties that accompany that. When the war is finally ended, when it comes to an end, as the Security Council began conversation that's on what leadership will look like in the Strip, and will your presidency be looking at what leadership would look like in Gaza after this war comes to an end? Second question, today is the second day of COP28. Ecuador is ranked one of the highest in terms of being at risk when it comes to safe and clean water. What is Ecuador expecting to get out of the summit? And will you be having conversations that would strengthen access to water in your country at the Security Council? Thank you.
Bueno, en la capacidad nacional...
Well, in our national capacity, I think that we can't establish any type of internal leadership. We believe in youthful leaderships, but I'm just talking about what happens is happening in our country and the winds of change blowing in Ecuador. In terms of environmental issues, we have our environment minister at the COP, and Ecuador has a cross-cutting policy to address the environment and the use of natural resources. I think that during these winds of change, we will see young leaders looking into the work of the state and its work in nature.
Please.
Thank you. Murad Hashim, Al Jazeera Arabic. On Gaza, and regarding the violations for human rights, for international law, and these crimes that are committed, what's your position regarding the accountability?
Ecuador has already made its position clear on the situation in the Middle East. This will always be a position of respect for international law, respect for humanitarian law, and therefore the Security Council's resolutions. In this regard, I think that all aspects under accountability will always have to fall under those principles that I've just mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question, please.
If I could just ask you on Haiti, you have the sanctions meeting on the schedule, but it's been about 14 months since the government of Haiti requested the multinational force. What is Ecuador, I mean, this is an issue that affects your region in particular. What are you going to do during your presidency to try and move this multinational force forward?
Siempre quisiésemos que las cosas...
We always want things to be as fast as possible. We understand the situation of Haiti. There are some domestic issues that have to be resolved by the country that is, let's say, mediating in this situation. So I think that we have to wait to see what Kenya does. I think that they will be giving a prompt response in that respect soon.
Please.
Thank you so much. My name is Efrem Kusaifi from Arab News Daily. I wonder what it has been like for you to work within a council that is so dominated by the rivalry between Russia and the US, which is really preventing from any file from moving forward, and it has been so for years. What has been your experience so far regarding that, and how do you plan to navigate these tensions during your presidency month? Thank you.
This is an open-door presidency. I'm very happy that you've asked that question. It's the first day for me today, but I'll be, of course, we have an open-door policy, and we hope to have the best possible relations with all countries. I haven't felt those tensions yet from a personal point of view, but I do, of course, understand that there are those tensions that exist, and we're here to try to find solutions to build bridges and to maintain good relations with all countries, with no exceptions.
Please.
Dennis Hakishev, TASS News Agency. Do you expect that, my question on the Middle East, do you expect that Security Council will be able to vote new Middle East resolution during your presidency?
As we said at the beginning, we want this to be a presidency that is less about words and more about action. So obviously we hope so. We hope yes. But these are issues that the Security Council has to look at. Ecuador will work as the president to channel this type of dialogue and these types of resolutions.
Please.
Thank you, Ambassador, for the briefing. My question, Martin Wang from Xinhua News Agency. Will the Council discuss or take measures to deal with the consequences of the withdrawal of the peacekeeping mission from Mali?
Well, I think that the decisions taken by the Council must always be respected, and this should be no exception.
Por si acaso, en este mes.
This is not something that is on the schedule at the moment.
Thank you very much. Any other question? We can take a couple more and then we're going to close up. ¿Hay más preguntas?
Are there any more questions? Thank you to you all for attending this press conference. Thank you very much.